Hello, my name is Akalanka Kalapati. I'm a PhD student. I work with Dr. Sarah Nadi at Software Maintenance and Reuse Lab in University of Alberta. Today, I'm going to talk about the findings of our empirical study of technical context in Stack Overflow. This project was done in collaboration with Rest of Code from University of Melbourne. The Stack Overflow is a popular website. It contains a lot of questions and answers. Given the vast amount of information available in this website, finding information that developers looking for could be a challenging task. Some of the previous studies support our argument in here. For example, 37% of the questions analyzed in here contain more than one answer. They also found that average length of an answer was around 800 characters. Another study found that 95% of the answers that they studied contain 75% of the text. When developers have to find information like these threads that has multiple answers with long textual description, it could take time to find information that they're actually looking for. So what can we do about this problem? Let's look at a quick example. Here I have an answer and a comment extracted from a Stack Overflow thread. As you can see, it's plain text. But when we start reading the answer, we found that there are Stack Overflow tags mentioned in this plain text answer. When we find Stack Overflow tags in answers and comments like this, we refer to them as technical context. Since context is a common word which could be interpreted differently, in our study, we define it as the information that characterize the technologies or assumptions of a given answer or a comment. When we look at the question tags of the thread, we found that SQL and SQL injection already mentioned in the question tags. However, there are other tags on this answer and comment which are not presented in the question tags. When we find tags which are not already presented in question tags, we refer to them as additional context. We believe clearly emphasizing additional context on Stack Overflow threads could help developers navigate through them quickly. For example, a developer could either decide to read this answer or skip it because stored procedure is not interested for them. Since additional context is a new phenomenon and nobody has ever studied this before, first we need to verify this exists on Stack Overflow and which of the additional context could potentially serve as navigational cues. To do this, we conduct an empirical study. In this study, we try to answer three research questions. First one is, how frequent is additional context on available on Stack Overflow? In the first phase, we select a sample of Stack Overflow threads. Then we remove the sentences that does not contain any Stack Overflow text. This is to reduce the burden on annotators. Here, annotators are the authors of our study. Since Stack Overflow threads could be long and contain a lot of sentences, we did not want to read the sentences that does not contain any text. We also remove the sentences that only contain question tags, since we are interested in additional context. Once we select the candidate sentences, we pass it to phase 2, where we do manual annotation. Here, each author go through the sentences assigned to them, answer a couple of annotating questions, which verifies whether the sentence contains additional context or not. Once we verify the sentences, we further conduct qualitative analysis to answer two more research questions. Those are, what types of tags used as additional context, and what is the purpose of mentioning the additional context in a sentence. The findings of our empirical study indicate that only a small percentage of sentences contain additional context. However, nearly half of the threads that we analyze contains at least one sentence with additional context. During the qualitative study, we found that the sentences used to provide a technical explanation or a discussion used tag categories such as programming concepts and computing concepts mainly. On the other hand, the sentences that represent solution or solution condition use tag categories such as library framework, programming language, tool application, API, and database. So these are actually interesting results because this indicates additional context exists on Stack Overflow thread, since only a small percentage of sentence contain in them if we were to use them as navigational cues, they should not create a clutter in Stack Overflow threads. Looking at the implication of this study, the results indicate that additional context could be used as navigational cues. We envision to use them to create tags for answers and comments, which could potentially help developers to select which answer that they or comment that they need to focus on. Since this is a manual creation, if we were to identify this information automatically, we could leverage on the information that we found on the qualitative studies. For example, the tag categories such as API, library framework, programming language, as well as the purpose of mentioned additional context such as the direct solutions and solution conditions. In summary, Stack Overflow is a popular website. However, finding information on it could be challenging due to multiple answers on Stack Overflow threads and long textual descriptions. We believe clearly emphasizing additional context on Stack Overflow thread could help to solve this problem. We conduct an empirical study to identify how frequent additional context available on Stack Overflow thread, and also to identify what types of information tags used as additional context and what is the reason for mentioning the additional context. Our results indicate that additional context exists on Stack Overflow thread. Since only a small percentage of sentences contain in them, it should be possible to use additional context as navigational cues. Findings of our study can be available in this artifact page. Thank you very much.